Hi traders, what's going on? Today I shall be explaining an NQ long setup that I took on the 7th of July, and I shall show you how I determined the bias for the day, what key liquidity points I have marked on the higher time frame, and as well I will be going down to the 1 minute to show you my entry strategy criteria, and I shall explain it as well. So without further ado, let's jump to the charts. So first of all, I start from to determine the bias for the day. Currently I am on the 4-hour time frame where I decide the bias for the day, or on the 4-hour or on the daily time frame. So as you are seeing here, this price movement here, it is showing us that a break of structure on the higher time frame was done. So that shows me that the price is bullish. So that's the first step. Second step is when price retraces down. So our trade is here, just to show you. I will be discussing today this trade, but in order for me to discuss that and how I arrived at the long setup, I need to show you how I determined some key liquidity points. So price, after made that break of structure, it retraced in a key liquidity zone that I have marked earlier, this point here that I have marked right now, 4 hour, and from there price made a bullish movement in which made another inner break of structure this time. So let's call it inner break of structure. And once price did that movement, for me that is showing that price will go bullish. The intent is there. So after that I have marked, from this bullish move that was done here, I have marked some key liquidity points, which one of them is this one here, this one. As you can see, we are still on the 4-hour time frame, and the price, this candle of the 4-hour has this large wick. So for me that's a key liquidity point. So I have marked it, and now we shall drop on the 1-hour time frame to see if there are more key liquidity points on the lower time frame. If so, I will mark them. If no, of course I will not. So this is the 1-hour time frame, and as you can see, that's the only point that it's, for me, it's worth to mark. So the only point was on the 4-hour. So I have nothing else to mark as a key liquidity point in my opinion, and that's, now I'm done. So the only thing that I will be doing now is to wait on the 1 minute time frame to go below the liquidity that I have marked earlier, and I see how price folds if my entry strategy will be given to me. So currently we are on the 1 minute time frame now, and I have some rules of engagement to how I engage for the longer entry. Let's mark it 4-hour. So as it is a 4-hour liquidity point, sometimes price will take some time to fold our entry strategy, because it's a 4-hour point, liquidity point. But in this trade, price really moved fast in my opinion. I don't usually take an entry take an entry like this because it happened fast. So let's start the 1 minute strategy. First of all, price went below the liquidity point and it kept doing a lower low. From there it did a bullish movement in which an inner break of structure was done. Let's name it inner break of structure. Now after that inner break of structure, and we see that price then started to retrace, we plot a fib from the bottom of the bullish movement to the highest point. Okay, so now the only point for us that is that we will monitor is price. When price goes below the 61.8 of the fib, we will only take trades when price go below that number. Also, we need to notice that on the left we will mark, like I love to call, the inner liquidity, which we have this point here and also this point here, 2 points. So I shall mark them with a line, both of them, and name them inner liquidity point. Like that. And then we can delete the fib as we don't need it anymore. Now, once price goes below the 61.8 of the fib and also goes below the inner liquidity point that we have marked, that ticks all our boxes for an entry long to be taken. Now, for an entry long to be taken, I usually go with the first bullish candle that forms after the inner liquidity point has formed. So like this setup here, price went below the inner liquidity point and made a bullish candle. So for me, that's a long in which I have taken yesterday. So the long is to be set here, the entry here. For the stop loss, you have two choices. Or you make the stop loss at the beginning of the bullish movement, or else you make it at the next inner liquidity point, in which this time I have made it in the inner liquidity point, the second one. Now, for the take profit now, usually I go for a 2.5R, but seeing this movement here on the left hand side made of bearish movement, I decided to take the take profit structural, in which I have closed it at around the trade I have closed it around 4.7R, this middle high here. It was around 4.7R. Why? Because I don't like, there was room to keep let the trade running. If I had let the trade run, it would have made around 6.2R, but I usually close at 2.5, so for me making the 4.7 is more than enough for the day. It's better to make the gains and not giving back the market the gains that you have made, and in which you need to say to yourself, I have waited for the setup for hours, so why should I give the gains back? So 4.7 or 2.5R is more than enough for me. So that's all for today's video. I will do a quick recap of this setup here. It's a very simple setup that happened yesterday. It's a very simple one. So first of all, we determine the bias for the day from the higher time frame, the daily or the 4-hour. Then we mark key liquidity points on the 4-hour and the 1-hour, and that is all you need to do, nothing else. Then you have just to wait on the 1-minute time frame till price goes below your key liquidity point that you have marked, and from there you wait for strategy criteria to tick the boxes for the long entry setup that I have showed you. I have other entry setup strategies that I will be talking in the future videos, but for today's video, as I have explained this price movement here, that's the only setup that I will have talked about. So for today's video, that's all. I hope that it helped someone out there. I hope that you liked and enjoyed the video. If so, please leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you on the next one.